All right. Got a lot of new subs. Welcome aboard. I'm going to call this one Back to Basics because that's what we need. There's a big misunderstanding. I want you to see how the puzzle fits together. As above, so below. As without, so within. When you talk about the zodiac, you have the three crosses. Let's get the three crosses up here. You have a fixed, which is in the middle. You have a mutable, which is here. And you have a cardinal, which is here. When you talk about fixed, mutable, and cardinal, you're talking about, well, I can't do that here. Let's turn that one off. Nope. Okay. You're talking about solid, liquid, and gas. It is a state of matter. Now, this alchemical table of symbols is related to the elemental table in chemistry because it is chemistry. You see, the chemical table of symbols. The chemical table of symbols, because simply means the, which again, in astrology, is related to Saturn. It's all the TH, or what I call, it's the TH. It's the symbol of Saturn. Now, all of these symbols here, all of them, they're made up of the elements, which are air, fire, earth, and water. Did I say that backwards? Let me see if we can pull this up. It won't go. Okay, now all of these symbols here are made up of these symbols of the elements with the symbols of the zodiac and the symbols of process. The process of alchemy. And all of these symbols here are made up of these. So you do your homework, you take this symbol. Well, it has this symbol right here in it, and it has the cross on it, zodiac on it, the fixed symbol, the symbol for fixed. Let's go back to the other one. So you can say, when you're talking about the three crosses, fixed, always in the middle. Jesus is nailed to the cross on the middle. So religion is connected to this. Chemistry is connected to this. Astrology is connected to this. You can even connect it to the chakras in your body, so it connects back within. Mutable over here and cardinal over here. So when you say fixed, you're going to say that's a solid. When you say cardinal, you're going to call this a gas. And it has to do with the noble gases, right? They go up. A gas goes up. And then water, because water will sink into the ground, so it's lower. So you have the mutable state. You have the liquid. The mutable liquid, the fixed solid, and the cardinal gases, or noble gases, that are in that went all the way up then, didn't it? The elemental table. So when you're talking, let me come over here, about the chakras. When you talk about turning base lead to gold, moving the kundalini up, you can move it from the bottom right to the top and bypass all of these. The work's not complete. You can do the same thing with the others. The only one that you can really bypass the bottom ones are the heart chakra. I understand the point of bringing the base up to the top. But in chemistry, there's more than one way to do an experiment. And science is based on an experiment that can be repeated, finding the same outcome. This is the premise that we base our scientific knowledge on. Now, through the ages, alchemists have understood all this. What we understand is the elemental table came from this. This came first. This is older. We get it literally out of the Arabic language, is how it comes to our age of understanding. It's very old. It has morphed its way around the globe, and the symbols morph as it does. But the basic premise always remains the same. Language is also tied to all of this, and how they divided the languages. My beginning was in linguistics. I had a desperate need to communicate, but I also began to understand how they divided the languages. So to me, it started with the alphabets. I seen what they did. I heard what they did. You have to learn to read backwards and forwards, or as the ox plows. The ox plows this way, like a snake. He doesn't pick up his plow. He doesn't do it like I grew up on a farm where we had big industrial equipment on the plantation. So we would do the row, he would turn around and lay it back down. He would always pick up and do the rows like this. They go back and forth, just like the ox. But the ox never picked up his plow. He just turned. This is called plowing when you are talking about alchemical code. This is the proper Native American medicine wheel. Black is always opposite white. Black and white are never found side by side in the zodiac. Neither are red and yellow. Red and yellow are the patriarch. Black and white is the matriarch. I want to show y'all something. Let me get up. I need a yin yang, and watch me not have one. I'm sure I don't. No, I do not have a yin yang. Let's do it this way. Excuse my terrible doing here. Okay, when you talk about the yin yang, this one is black. Oh, please don't start that. Black with a white center. And this one is white with the black center. When you talk about the black and the white, we automatically think Freemasonry. It is feminine. It is the matriarch. Okay? And you have the two opposing factions within the matriarch. But it also represents ages. When you talk about the beast that came up out of the earth, earth is black, and the beast that comes out is white. And then you talk about the beast that comes up out of the water. Okay, there's a beast also that comes out of the water. Water is white, and what comes out of the water is black. Are you seeing this here? At the center of the white lodge is black, and at the center of the black lodge is white. The black lodge is your subconscious mind, and at the center of it is white, a white light. And in the darkness of your conscious mind, when you close your eyes, it's dark. In the darkness of your conscious mind, in your waking mind, there's darkness. There's a light in the dark, and there's dark in the light. White produces darkness. Darkness produces white, or light. One can't exist without the other. Light cannot exist without darkness. I asked once to see the whole of creation. And again, I'm going to tell you, how do I do this? It was toroidal. When we look at the night sky, we see stars or lights. It's really like a hole in time-space. Stars are not what we think they are. They're portals. They're like holes. If you go through the hole, then you're in the light. And then the holes look black. On the outside of if you're inside the donut, the toroidal donut, this thing circles in on itself. If you're on the inside, it looks black with white spots. But if you're on the outside, it's white with black spots. The sun, on our side, it is a black hole. Light comes out one side, and the other side is darkness. A black hole is the opposite side of a sun. You'll never see the black hole on this side because they're white holes. We're in the black. Earth in the black. Is any of this making sense to you? It's very important that you learn this Native American medicine wheel. I can't express to you how important. This is the key of all keys. This makes everything fit together. It tells you which way the snake goes. And when you talk about swastika, it's the same thing. The circle squared, they show you it goes this way. Now when we talk about the zodiac, there are wheels within wheels. The sun appears to move this way in the heavens. But because of precession, it has a retrograde motion against the backdrop of the stars. It has a retrograde motion. So as it goes forward, it's actually moving backwards. And it doesn't move in a straight line. They're toroidal. They move like that. It's actually like a wobble. When, well, let me talk about the patriarch first, because we've talked about the matriarch. When you talk about the color yellow, always, it's the element of fire. This is fire. And it's associated with three chakras. Jupiter, Mars, and the Sun. Jupiter in Sagittarius, Mars in Aries, and the Sun in Leo. When you talk about the red side of the patriarch, you're talking about, again, 3. It always runs in threes. So you have Saturn that rules Aquarius, You have Venus that rules Libra, and you have Mercury that rules Gemini, the 3 air signs. These 2 rule all heaven and earth. This is earth and heaven. This is water and fire. Earth was the age of Taurus. That was in Egypt. It's black. Then they went to Asia for the age of Aries, fire, yellow. Then they moved to Europe for the age of water, its color's white. Then they came to the Americas for the age of Aquarius. And what color did they call the people? The red man. The red man was sacrificed. Do y'all understand who the red man is? He's the first and the last. They tell you this. We all, after the great disaster, we all come up out of the ground. And they sent everybody in the 4 directions to go get the knowledge and bring it back. I'm going to tell you the story I was told. And they tell us this in schools too. They show us this in the movies, but it's damned ironic that we don't see it. Because everything's always been run by the mystery schools. So when they sent the brothers out into the 4 directions and told them to go get the knowledge that was lost, go get the ring out of the water, then go find where the stars are now, so we can have a where we are. Then that'll tell us when we are. And they came back. They came back. And so the Native American held up his right hand, and he said, no, he held up his left hand, feminine, and he said, how? And the answer was supposed to be the right hand and wa, which is how backwards. It was supposed to be how or ha, and then wa. And that's how we actually get Hawaii. It's Hawa with the 2 eyes. Somebody made a comment that I was serving the black planets, propagating them, and the evil eye. The all-seeing eye is the evil eye. There's the eye of providence and the evil eye. It's the eye. It's what you do with it. And what you do with it is really determined by which chakra you jump to the pineal gland from. The base root chakra. Now, this one, I would rather jump from the base chakra to the top than I would Jupiter or the sun. Mars, Jupiter, the sun, the moon's also here. Then you have Venus, Mercury, Saturn, and then the above. We talked about Mark Twain and the above and below, right? Mark Twain. 2 fathoms, you're in the safe zone. 1 fathom, you're fixing to run ashore. But the root chakra, Mars is actually grounded because it is the root chakra. But Jupiter, this is your desires. These are fleshly desires. What do you call the pit of the stomach? More, more, more. Feed me, feed me. This one ruled by the sun. Now, interesting one there because we have the symbol on this particular one. That looks crappy, but it's my lightning bolt here, okay? This is a symbol. This symbol of the lightning bolt in alchemy is a symbol for art. We talked about this. Artificial. I hate this thing. It's not writing now. Artificial initiation. There are natural initiates. that it's just in their chart, it's just destiny. And they go through their lives and certain events happen that they are naturally initiated in, like your first Saturn return. For some of you, it's much more serious than others. It's serious for everybody, but for some of you, you are naturally initiated through that rite of passage. And then there are those that are artificial, and that comes directly from the sun. And I understand that. I completely understand it. When you talk about the Nazis, SS, right? Oh, come on, don't do that. It's going to do what it wants to. The Nazi SS symbol was actually the symbol of the, did I do that right? The SS, right? The 2 lightning bolts. That's artificial initiation. That's not what you call the true lodge. There is a true lodge. But all the ones we've got in there now, they're all artificial initiates. They're not chosen. If you want to call it chosen. Nature does this. When you talk about alchemy anyway, it's all about nature. Because it's all about the elements and the states of the elements. Solid, liquid, gas. Cardinal, your noble gases. Fixed, your solids. Mutables, your liquids. Your states of matter. Now there's something that supersedes every bit of this. Every bit of it. And that's the will, the spirit. Your conscience, free will thought. There's so much embedded in this. The lion represents the sun pillar. The dragon represents the moon pillar. There are 2 dragons, right? The north node and the south node of the moon. And then the great city between them. The city on the mountain, the city in the clouds, the city on a hill. That ladder between the 2 pillars. So when you talk about the Twin Towers coming down and them making the 2 one, you met it the same. You know what the symbol for that is? An eclipse. Their black sun. The eclipse of the 2 in the middle when the 2 become 1. And that only happens in a solar eclipse. In a lunar eclipse, the sun cannot eclipse the moon because it's behind the moon. The moon is always in front of the sun. It is the earth that eclipses the light of the sun from the moon. Looking from the sun's perspective, the moon disappears behind the earth. But never is the sun in front of the moon. Now, you need to remember all of this and everything you watch, all the movies, our school books, our fairy tales, our bedtime stories, just little jingles, frickin' row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. And indeed it is. But you need to know all of these symbols. You need to know how they are derived from these symbols. And then you will begin to understand the elemental table and what the elements actually do. Let me go back to here. Let's start in Gemini. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. He's mutable. I call this red Mercury, right? Red Mercury. Mercury also rules, this is a heaven sign, right? A gas, it's a heaven sign. That etheric, the vapor, the fog. Actually, before I go into this any further, I want you to consider a concept of what I'm fixing to say. we are told heat rises. And indeed it does. If you've ever cooked in your kitchen and didn't have the air on, you'll feel the heat go up. And it just starts layering. It's like a fire. The smoke layers. If you want oxygen, you got to go to the bottom. Heat rises. So I ask you a question. I live in Death Valley. When you talk about this part of the Southwest, it's almost an old seabed, right? It's almost sea level. And it's very, very hot. But when you go into the mountains, there's snow. Just not very far from here, you can go up into the mountains and literally go skiing. If heat rises, why is it cold on the mountain? You need to ask yourself these questions. If heat rises and it pushes the cold down, why is it always hot as hell at sea level? You need to understand the wobble. Why wobble? Why wobble? Because the sun moves around this circle from our perspective now. The sun does not actually move the way we think. It does this. Well, not like that. Let me do it this way. This. It wobbles. You can see it in Stellarium. The moon does it too. When you're looking at it from this perspective, it does this. It snakes around. All right. When it does this, you can, it moves from what you call, in a sign, the upper house, the house, and then the lower house. And my father are many mansions, right? Capricorn, Aquarius, 2 mansions. And then there are mansions within each of these houses. The upper and the lower. Aquarius, the man. Above him is Pegasus. Below him in the lower house is Fomalhaut. The stars associated with it. Mercury. Red Mercury in Gemini. Black Mercury in Virgo. Earth here. Mutable. Both of these are mutable. Both of these. He rules the mutable cross with Jupiter. So, these two are mutable. These two are mutable. They make this X. Jupiter here. Jupiter and Sagittarius. Gemini, Mercury here. Damn it, don't do that. I'll get it in a minute. Let it do its thing. I don't know why it's zooming like that. I'm not hitting zoom. So Jupiter rules these two, and Mercury rules these two. Sagittarius is crossed from Gemini, and they always oppose each other. Mercury opposes Jupiter here, and Jupiter opposes Mercury here on the same mutable cross. So they work together. They're mutable. They're represented in palmistry by the index finger, Jupiter, and the pinky finger, Mercury. So those horn signs, they're telling you belongs to Saturn, belongs to the mutable cross. Its state is like liquid. It's changeable. This is just dragging more and more. And when they do that, when they show you that hand sign, that means change, because mutable means change. It's the adept in the initiation series. But what I really want you to get is the connection. The connection between above, below, the elements, and how it all goes together, and this set of symbols and many others. This is just one example. To read the map, you must know the legend. This is the legend. This is the legend for the ledger. To have knowledge, you must know the ledger. You must know the ledge. You must know the edge. And also the Egyptian hieroglyphics. Every set of symbols, they all, if I want to do calculus or trigonometry, I need to understand a certain set of symbols. And you'll see those symbols repeated somewhere else that have nothing to do with that. But they do. They do have to do with that. That's why they're used. And that's the connection you need to find. When you see a symbol in one legend, and you see the same symbol in another story or another legend, you need to find the connecting dots between the two. And it needs to be based on this. Earth. Oh, please. Water. Air. Fire. And there's just a few of us. There's just a few that can see this. I didn't see it at first. I didn't see it for decades. I thought alchemy was crap. I really thought astrology was crap. Why I use astrology is because it is the best way to understand it. It's simpler to understand astrology and then bring it back down than it is to understand chemistry and to put it up and make it fit in the heavens. But the Native Americans kept it simple, back to basics. They kept it very simple. Everything is within here, just like the yin-yang. Again, on that yin-yang, in the book of Revelations, you had the beast that came up out of the earth. Earth is black, the beast that comes out is white, water. Then you have the beast that comes out of the water. It's black, it's earth. And all of these have their three states. Fixed, mutable, cardinal. Every one of the elements are represented in their three states. And everything is connected to everything else. And there's not nothing connected that's not connected. Like, again, I'm going to keep referring to the dark crystal, because Jim Henson told us everything. He wrote the first cube. There would be no cube 1, cube 2, hypercube. It all comes from Jim Henson back in the 70s. The original cube. It should still be on YouTube. The new show out, Lodge 49. They're telling you everything. But what you're seeing isn't. You need to listen to the words. Just turn off the damn screen, close your eyes, because the dialogue is very encoded, and it's telling so much truth. I can't believe they're doing it, actually. But it's still encoded. And they're telling you about the true lodge. That they're not the true lodge, and they knew that. Even the Pope tells you that he sits in somebody else's seat. to say he's the vicar of Christ admits he's not the true lodge. Oh, by the way, a church is a lodge, whether you know it or not. You got a symbol of cross on it. You have an altar set up just like a Freemason temple. The lodge came before the church, people. The lodge invented the church. The lodge came up out of the age of Taurus in Egypt in an earth sign. The water, the white dot, the water came out of the black earth, the beast. And the age of the church is represented by white water, Pisces. Unfortunately, it is these two that control the other two. This is what you don't see. And it's the patriarch. I mean, we do see it. They constantly bitching about these white men that rule the world. Well, let me tell you something. What's going on with all that, and white supremacy, and why bang it? Why put all that out there and keep resurrecting those same demons? Because you don't understand the wheat and the tares. Within every race, there are two sets. There are two different white men. There are two different red men. There are two different black men. They tell the stories from their own tribes. Look at how Japan and China war the yellow man. They're telling you there are factions within factions. All of these houses are divided. Actually, they're divided in three. We're told that in astrology. Every house is divided into, let's see if I can get this to do this. Every house is divided into 3 deacons. Every house is divided into 3 deacons. And the moon magic is divided into 28 deacons. There are extra deacons. But for every deacon, there's a lord. So within the earth sign, again, you're going to have the coming in, the peak, and the exit. You're going to have the mutable, the fixed, and the cardinal. They're changed, they fix, and then you go to excel, up. Cardinal means most high. When you see the most high, that's a god on the cardinal cross. There are 3 gods on the cardinal cross. Let me back this up. Let me pull out the cardinal cross too. There you go. Just disappeared on me. It just closed out on me. It just done what it wanted to do. Let's take this one. Mutable cross here. Let's do the cardinal cross. Your own cardinal. Cardinal cross. The cardinal cross is ruled by Aries and Libra, Capricorn and Cancer. So you have Saturn, Venus, Mars, and the moon all rule the cardinal cross. They are the most high. You just need to decide which one. To be a pope, you must be a cardinal, right? So all cardinals, cardinal fire, Aries, cardinal air, Libra, cardinal earth, Capricorn, cardinal water, Cancer. This one is Mars. This one is Venus. The top is Saturn, and the bottom is the moon. Cardinal cross, the Most High. So Jupiter can never be the Most High. The Sun can never be the Most High. Are you starting to see the pattern here? Saturn is never mutable. Saturn rules Aquarius and Capricorn, and they're cardinal and they're fixed. He has nothing to do with mutable. Nobody has anything to do with mutable except for Mercury and Jupiter. That's what's really going on in this age. Mercury and Jupiter. That just drives me batty what this thing's doing. I need me a tablet, a really powerful one that I can just doodle on. Maybe one day. So when you see the Most High in the Bible, they're talking about one of these four gods, one of these four signs. And you need to know the element. And then the element will tell you the planet. And then the planet will tell you the chakra. It tells you who they are and who they are not. And we have a lot of imposters, right? They want to eliminate Saturn and usurp the next two ages. That's why the red man was slaughtered. Just like when Aries, when the Hebrew came out of the age of Egypt and was going into the promised land, and they were told to kill them all. If you want to take over the next age, you have to kill them all. If you leave one remaining, well, they did. They're on reservations. I call them the first FEMA camps, right? You think you're free. The Native Americans are still in FEMA camps. What's left of them? There are more true bloods in South America still, even though North America was interbred with the whites and the blacks. The South Americans, as well, I guess in Brazil too, because they brought slaves from Africa over. But it's more of a Spaniard influence, which were considered Moorish or coming from the Middle East. And, you know, let's talk some truth here about when you talk about these different factions. Let's talk about the connection between Islam and Judaism. It's that black box. The Jews wear it on their third chakra, their third eye. They put the black box there, right? In Egypt, it was all about pyramid worship. And when they came out of Egypt, God gave them instructions for a temple. And when you read the dimensions of it, the tabernacle was almost a rectangle. It was like 2 cubes, a pair of dice, right? 2 cubes. It takes 2 cubes to make a rectangle. But then when you read about Revelation, it talks about a 4 square. The new temple is 4 square, right? It's a perfect cube. But what you don't get is when you look at the pyramid from the top, it is a cube. So the cube is the pyramid. I want you to think of another thing too. When you talk about fire, the element fire, and a lot of understanding in alchemical text, that doesn't translate fire. It comes from the Arabic. Oh, please. It's making this so difficult. It's called Wallah. Wallah. I love it. I lived in Mobile, Alabama for years, and we had a TV station, WALA, and I would just laugh every time. I never forget when you talk of, in Arabic, Atene Ishwaya Wallah. Do you have a light? Can I have a light? Asking for a light for a cigarette, but it's also the same word for an idea. we say, or when a magician, he says, voila, ta-da, the light comes on, the idea. So it's light, it's fire, voila. Like the light in the TV box, right? Voila, the magic box that tells everybody what to do, what to think. It's the big liar. It's the black box. We've all got one. They just took it's like flat earth, right? Our TVs used to be these big square boxes. Now they're these flat rectangular panels. It's still a pyramid. They call it television. A tail, T-E-L, means it's like a yard or yard. It's a natural, like a sand dune. It's a natural pyramid that the earth makes. The wind blows up into the sand, it slides down, and it makes this dune, and that's called a tail. And that's another tale to tell. You need to learn your synonyms, your homonyms, your antonyms. You need some nyms, because it's all about the spell. And you need to know your nyms, because that's how the scribes scribbled the scripture. They use a word that sounds the same, or a word that has the same meaning but spelled a different way. Homonyms, synonyms, antonyms. Important to know. And then the light goes off. Voila! Ta-da! The magic happens. The magic happens in the mind. And that's where the magic needs to happen. That's where the understanding is, within. Love the channel Understanding. They've got a lot of good information out there as well. I try to focus more on self. I don't want to project. To project is the project. We are a projection. You project, eject, reject, subject. It's all about the ject. So we are projections. We project. That's how you manifest. You project. It's a project. And we all need to have one. Everybody needs, again, start keeping a daily blog, vlog, diary, something to where your daydreams and then your projections, your goals. You want to manifest, start projecting. They taught it in the church as, I didn't like what they did because they used it about money. You want it to start speaking it into existence. There's a little more to it than that, but that is the basic premise of it. Is if you will not have it if you can't believe it. Now I step above that because I don't like the word believe. Belief requires faith, which requires you to accept something with no foundation or knowledge, just blind faith. You believe, you don't have any evidence of it, but you believe it. Aquarius is about the age of knowing, not believing. We're moving away from blind faith. A lot of people are trying to hang on to faith and hope. I guess if you're not in the know, then that's all you have. Once you move into the know, the knowledge, to know the ledger, then you don't have to have hope anymore. You don't have to have belief anymore. You don't have to have faith anymore. You know, because you know the ledger. And you have to know the legend to understand the ledger. And then you have to know which story the legend goes with, the symbols. If I give you a set of symbols on how to read one map, you can't take that same set of symbols and go to another map and expect to get correct answers, because they are indigenous to the first map, the original. You have to know the story behind it for the legend to make sense. And that's where confusion comes in. And that's what Babylon was all about. Because there was a confusion of the symbols based on the ledgers. They took the wrong legend to translate the map. And now we have things like tropical astrology, mass institutionalized religion, and wicked things beyond speaking. I don't want to project into that. I want the projection to be inward, because that's the way out. There are two kinds of insiders. We all need to be insiders, not outsiders. The introvert, not the extrovert. The implode, not the explode. And those are masculine and feminine. Implode and explode. I don't want to overload your donkeys. Some of you I probably already have. But I don't intend to. So always take notes. Nobody can do your homework for you. Nobody can meditate for you but you. Nobody can fast for you but you. That's why it's a solo man projection. It's something you must do on your own. All I can do is give you the legend, give you the stories, and try to help you have tools that will assist you on your journey, like giving you your crosses. It's important to know which cross you're on, which planets rule over you and your chakras, which ones most influenced you, which ones do you need to work on, those stumbling blocks, to remove the confusion that was brought down in the age of Leo, that we still flipping on today. It's trying to reconcile the paradox of why, if heat rises, the mountain is cold. If heat rises and cold pushes down, why is the desert and the beach so damn hot? It's the paradox. Well, paradigms are shifting right now. With Saturn and Pluto in Sagittarius retrograde and Mars fixing to be there retrograde, it's all about illumination, ideology, transformation, transmutation. We are becoming. When you refine gold, okay, you're refining gold in a refinery. When you take all the impurities out, they just lump them all together. They separate everything from the gold, and then they lump all that shit together and they call it slag. You lag behind, you're slag. So in this process, we either come out gold or we come out slag. We either come out pure or we become the dross that is washed away. And there are factions within yourself. Everything is fractured. All of this is one, but they are fractions. They're factions of fractions. And you can, the same in the alchemical table is here. When you have this symbol mixed with this symbol mixed with this symbol, pull the three together and then you have something new. We're creating, or they call it discovery. They call it discovery. New elements, discovering the new elements. And they add them to the table. And when they do, they add some of these symbols to it to define it. So when you look at it, if you understand astrology and you understand alchemy, you understand hermetics, then you get it. you immediately have a connection to the as above, so below, as without, so within. And then it becomes a useful tool. But to put a 5-year-old in a chemistry class or in a laboratory, it can get quite explosive. My name is a strange name, lvt. It has different sources. The oldest origin, it comes from a thing that means purified or holy. But it comes from a French word that it means laboratory or lavatory. It's a bathroom. It's a laboratory. It's somewhere you go to process or get clean. And the French, which is basically a new word, it comes from more of a slang than the ancient tongue, but lvt is something you wash with. It's like a washcloth or a dishcloth. You wash with it. You clean with it. You use it to clean. So it's a person, it's a place, and it's a thing. Another way of looking at solid, liquid, and gas when we talk about grammar, which is how I figured all of this out, was through the ABCs. It seemed that just my route. I'm sure people of other mindsets find the same information, but coming from somewhere else, coming from a different path, a different direction. But something that we all do understand, which is the simplest form, really is the astrology. It's the simplest way to understand it. And it's the legend. They can try to rewrite the script all they want. This script here, the alchemical wheel, this magic circle, they can lie about it, change it, but it's of no avail. That's nature. It's alchemy. It's going to do what it wants to do. It is not affected as above, so below, as below, so above. The change will come. The alchemy will happen. And alchemy is all about one thing: changing lead to gold, bringing that base metal up, to purify the spirit, to create the light body, the light within. Voila! Not just the illuminated mind, the whole body. Jesus said, if thine eye be single, thy body will be full of light. Back to the basics. The Christ talked about it in fishing and farming and building, because that's what they understood. That's what they knew. He taught them on their level. When you don't teach this information to a first grader the same way you would teach it to somebody with a couple of PhDs. It's easier to teach it to the first grader because the guy with a few PhDs already thinks he knows it all. And he's going to correct you instead of assist you, learn from you. But when we talk about back to basics, there's nothing you can do but look up, because that's where it all started. It all started in a tribal setting with a family sitting around the circle at night around the fire, and grandpa or grandma telling the story of the stars. And it's been told by every tongue, every color, every race, everywhere, every nation, all around the world. And it just keeps repeat and repeat, all for one purpose. It's called refinement. To refine. You don't want 10 karat gold or 14, 18, 22. You want 24K. You want the purest of the pure, alchemy. And only you can do that for you. I always wanted to be at the head of the class. I didn't just want to win the game. I wanted to own it. Master it. It's like chess. When you have a fixed set, like a damn chessboard, when it's fixed, I mean, it's not like you got to learn infinity. I just stumbled up on it. I didn't realize what I had for a long time. But when I did, it became alive to me. It was like nature talking to you. This is the language of nature. And nature speaks. The good Mother Nature, not the patriarch nature. The patriarch is ruling the matriarch. They rule her. And that's why it ain't working. They call it missionary. Him on top of her. Who? Where did I see the new sign? Somebody's actually using it. I saw it. It's the greater than, less than. I'm less than you. No, I'm less than you. This is the real symbol. It's not supposed to be that over that. It's supposed to be side by side. Somebody, a new company was using this symbol. I wish I'd have wrote it down. It'll come to me when I turn the video off. All the information, everything you've ever learned, you ever saw, you ever heard, you ever spoke, you ever dreamed, you ever thought of is still all in your brain and can be accessed. It's in your, there's also shit in your DNA that you weren't there, you didn't see it, you didn't hear it, you didn't smell it, but your DNA did. And you can also access that memory. Another one. Oh, that's the thing about the eggs that we really don't get. It's the two pointed inward. But even when you have this time symbol, right? The hourglass. The way they give us the hourglass. Oh, don't do that. Mercury retrograde. It wants to go through the whole cycle before it'll finish too. X marks the spot, people. I spent a lot of years in Alabama. Its flag is that big red X. And it's funny because where that X meets in the center of the state, you know, right outside of Birmingham is Mecca. They have the Kaaba. They have Mecca. You have all kind of grottos and ritualistic sites. And I lived in Franklin County and Russellville from the Franklin Russell 322 Yale University Lodge 322. All the tags in that county start with 33. I've even checked out all their lodges while I was there. I learned a lot by being there, by what this thing is, what we're seeing. And a lot of what I learned there is now being talked about in the media. Last year, 2017, I don't know if you guys noticed, but before they started saying blue wave on TV, the Democrats going to have a blue wave, a lot of companies used it as advertising logo, and they called it the blue wave. Look it up. It was used as an advertising slogan first. Slogan. There's one for you. You know, the advertiser is really who's behind all of this. They told us that in Bewitched. They also tell us that in the scripture. The advertiser adds verbs, right? He adds a verse to entice the mind. There's a script. The advertiser adds a verse, and it's a lie. How many products do you buy that actually do what they say they'll do? It's like medicines. This one's going to get you sick, but oh, we put a bunch of shit in here to make something that wasn't sick too. Go within. Don't trust all of that shit. Now, once you open your third eye, you're going to find the one you can trust. And it's yourself. You're going to find you. Know thyself. Find thyself. We've all been lost here. We've all been in confusion, and on a lot of things we still are in confusion. We're not fully in the know yet. We're not fully in Aquarius yet. But it's always darkest before the dawn. You know, that's not quite true, because we do have twilight. We can see the sun before it's coming up. The birds tell us. The birds wake up. Birds are messengers. Birds represent air signs. The birds tell us. The Indians, the Native Americans tell us. They're the bird people. They wear the feathers. They represent the air sign. They represent heaven. They have the knowledge. And they know. And they've tried to tell. They've tried to go to the UN. The Native Americans of the Americas, North and South America, are the only people on the planet that are not represented in the United Nations. Now, why would that be? Because Europe, Asia, and Africa all have a vested interest in the Americas. You've got 3 ages trying to pull themselves together with all the power they've got to take it over. And they came in with a massive slaughter. But they're in self-destruct mode. Now they're warring amongst themselves. They think they've already won it all, right? We own this fucking planet. So now they're fighting between the black, the white, and the yellow. Who's going to control the red? The red man just sits on his reservation waiting. He has reservations. He's a VIP. He RSVP'd. He's got a reservation. And they tell us in the song, you're the reason God made Oklahoma. It's the reservations. Their time's coming and they know it. And if you want to go talk to them, they'll tell you. They're not just going to give the information. You have to ask. And then you might not get it then. Only if they consider you worthy. But you can have this information yourself if you'll simply meditate, fast. And I know that's so hard to do in this age of noise. In this age, in this time of chaos. This time of age of illusion and a time of chaos. But we know the outcome already. We know the end of the story. They're going to try to pass off to us fool's gold and iron pyrite. They're pirates. They're going to pass off to us fool's gold. Don't buy it. The only gold you need is right within you. And only you can give it to you. Again, I'm trying to hand you tools, symbols. When you're going on a journey, you need a map. And you need to know how to read the road signs. Well, you're on a journey. This is the map. This is a legend of the map. This is the map. And these are the road signs that tells you how to get there. And this is how it affects you inwardly. Think about what I'm telling you. Meditate on it. Contemplate on it. Tell yourself to dream about it. Let it enter into your subconscious, because there's a little white light in there waiting. All of us have this great opportunity while Saturn, Mars, and Pluto are all in Sagittarius to put away all these ideologies. You've got to get rid of the old shit before you can get something new. The law of equivalent exchange. You will get what you give. So give it all away. Commit those random acts of kindness. You're going to need them. We all do. We all do. Because when you talk spiritually, there's a lot of hate going on right now. There's a lot of self-righteous people doing a lot of hating on both sides. Right? Hate is like drinking poison and thinking the person you hate is going to get sick. It only makes you sick. A lot of hate, a lot of finger pointing going on. If you've done it in your heart and your mind, you've already done it. You've already brought it into thought. You've already brought it into the etheric realm for it to manifest in the physical. Neptune, Saturn, etheric realm. Neptune, Jupiter comes into the physical realm. Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune work like the fates. You can't get away from it. They're generational markers. It's going to happen. The transformation will occur. In 2020, it's going to occur from the subconscious mind. Pluto and a Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, and the door to the Black Lodge opens. And when you open the Black Lodge, what do you see? It's black. What's at the center? White. You see the light. And that's what we all need to do. Because in 2020, you're going to manifest your nightmares. If you're in the fear porn, if you're in the hate, if that's what you're giving your energy to, if that's the information you're looking at, you're feeding into your mind, that's what you're going to manifest. If you've done it in your heart and your mind, you've already done it. You don't even need to do it in the physical world. It's a done deal. It will eventually manifest itself. Clean up the inside of your mind, and the body will follow. Mind over matter. When you talk about Adam and Eve, he's the brawn, she's the brain. She got the knowledge first. There was no problem at all when Eve ate that apple. None. The problem was Adam ate it. God never told Eve not to eat it. He told Adam, don't eat it. It's the same thing as saying the hunter, the gatherer, the brain and the brawn, the male and the female. She was the one with the knowledge, and it was perfectly fine. But all hell broke loose when the patriarch took that power, because it's misused. They don't have the capability to bleed it. And I know if you're not going to understand what I'm fixing to say, I've said this 100 times. Only women bleed. That's why there's so much sacrifice on this planet. A man, a magic circle man, a woman must make a sacrifice because he doesn't bleed. Only women bleed. You can change your gender all you want. You can change your gender all you want. But you can never, that's something given by nature. You can never have a ministration. Women ministrate. They have a ministry. They administer. They're the ministers. When you add the minister, that was the patriarch. The administration is run by the males. It's a female position. If we set up a society based on this and this, it would work. Because it would be one of merit. It's not based on color. It's not based on gender. It's based on alchemy. Bringing the best to the top. Bringing you to the cardinal, the Most High. Bringing you to the point of purification, the philosopher's stone, led to gold, apotheosis. Bringing the God out of the man. Where you become the master and destiny of your own life. You rise above the wheel. Once you refine the gold, it doesn't need to go back in the smelting pot anymore. This is the cauldron. It's the smelting pot. It's the magic circle. It's the alchemical transmutation circle. And we're all in it. And we're all on one of these crosses. And there's no way around it. If you walk on this earth, you have been crucified. And there are many religious books. They all tell the same story. This is the story. All the ancient oral traditions tell these stories from these ages. And we've talked about this before because there's two stories. This is the way of seeing the patriarch over the matriarch, of the way it happened. Because the sun goes this way. It goes Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces into the spring, over here to Leo into the summer, into the fall, Libra. But it tells a different story as it retrogrades backwards. Then the story goes this way. It's in reverse. So there's two stories going on at one time. One is masculine and one is feminine. And then I tell you, there's another, the third story, the middle path. That's the oral tradition that's not spoken. It's not even spoken. It's unspoken. It's a symbolic thing. It's unspoken. And it's this circle here. This circle of the... Gonna do it? Don't do that. Alright, I'm going to stop this here. The circle of the symbols. Know the symbols and know how they appear in your body. You can take the symbols from your natal chart. You have different planets in different positions, and you can associate them with the chakras in your body based on the zodiac. See where your power is. Know what element you rule. Earth, water, fire, air. What state you rule it in. Mutable, fixed, cardinal. We all have the ability here. We've all been given different gifts. They try to cookie cutter us out. They want to stamp us and make us all look alike, sound alike, be alike. They call it tolerance. I hate that word. It means to tolerate, to put up with. We don't need tolerance. We need respect. We need honor. Hell, even their honor among thieves. There's very little honor found today. Very little integrity. People talk out of both sides of their mouth. There comes a time we need to stop talking and start listening. And ask yourself, why do I believe this? What evidence do I have to be able to move from believing to knowing? And it's an understanding. And it's not based on something somebody else has told you. It's something you know because you go within and you get the inner truth. And that truth reveals this. But we see it in different ways. Some see it in colors. Some see it in numbers. Some see it in symbols. But it's all the same. We're all looking at the same thing. We're all inside the same circle. The only differences are we're on 3 different crosses. That's it. Otherwise, we all deal with, on every cross is earth, water, fire, and air. Every cross deals with that. It's just what state, at what point in the alchemical transmutation are you? Coagulation, distillation. There are different stages that we move through this circle so that we can all become. And when you look at it this way, you understand there is a way to get out of this reincarnation cycle if that's what it is. To me, I know. I don't need to be told. I freaking know this is my first time here in a carnal body to incarnate into the flesh. Because I remember before. And I wasn't in a body. It's my first time. Will I reincarnate? I don't know. But I do know this, that I manifested my light body. I've seen it, I've touched it, I've played with it. I've been in my light body, clapping my hands together while watching my flesh body drowned in a pool. We're all in the abyss. When you talk about the age of Pisces water, we're in the abyss. The age of hell are three: Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. The ages of water are three. The ages of earth are three. There are three heavens: the fixed heaven, Aquarius; the most high heaven, Libra; the mutable heaven, Gemini. There are three heavens, and only three. There are stages within those. In a way, you could say there are 9, because each one has 3 deacons. It's like the little Russian dolls. They just keep opening them. It's like an onion. Keep peeling it away. It goes deeper and deeper, but it's all the same. It's the same thing. It's just layers of it. In the Nag Hammadi, we're told that Yaldabaoth, who created the material world as we know it, actually Sophia did. She's the one who created the cloud and put him in it. All he did was overtake it, and it's the same as the statement in Genesis when God created man, male and female. He created them, and he gave them dominion and told them to subdue the earth. It's the subduction zone, to subdue. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're following the first commandment: subdue the earth. And it was the first commandment. And this went down to me on the 6th day. God created male and female. He created them. And on the 7th day he rested, and on the 8th day he planted a garden, and he created Adam. And then he took Eve from Adam. He took the brain out of the brawn. He divided. To me, the 6th-day man and 8th-day man are 2 different creations. 8th-day man was supposed to live eternally, right? He's got the infinity symbol, the 8. But because he ate of the apple, then he was cursed to death. He was cursed to till the ground. Adam didn't get cursed. The ground got cursed. Eve got cursed. The serpent got cursed. Everybody got a curse on them from God, but Adam. Adam's curse was the ground had been cursed. So now he had to work. Brawn. He had to work. He was a worker anyway. He was put in a garden. When you understand, and that's all so allegorical, but it's true. But allegorically, when you say the word garden, Garden of Babylon, Garden of Eden, it's a zodiac. It's a zodiac. So they put in the zodiac what they want to control. The fixed cross is the most important cross because it's fixed. It represents 4 stars. And as long as you know those 4 stars and you know that fixed cross, you can always find out where you're at in time and space. We are here. This is where we're at in time and space. We're between Europe and the Americas, between water and air, between the abyss and heaven, between 2 ages, air, water. Two symbols together. You are here. We all are. We're between 2 ages. We're coming up out of the water into the air. How does that happen in alchemy? You set a damn fire under it, Aries. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're setting a Zionist fire, and it makes the water boil, and then the water moves to vapor. It rises. It's going through the state. Cardinal, mutable, fixed. Cardinal, mutable, fixed. Cardinal, mutable, fixed. Or mutable, fixed, cardinal. Mutable, fixed, cardinal. Each stage purifies more. It's refinement. It's the cauldron. We're smelted. All right. I'm stopping this here. I know I've way overloaded too many donkeys. Commit your random act of kindness. If you can't find one, invent one. You get double points for that one. Do the right thing in your hearts and in your mind. Clean up. Stop watching the damn fear porn. Stop wasting your time when you put that shit in your mind. You know, it's like right now, Uranus is fixing to back up into Pisces. It's time to start again eliminating people from our life. People we work with, people we go to school with, people, associates. Not our family, not our personal friends we choose, but everybody else. And that includes YouTube and even this channel. When you talk about Uranus, removing people. Now, how I didn't want to lose people in my life. If I'm going to lose them, I'm going to choose which ones. I don't want the choice to be made for me. So a great way to channel that energy, go through your YouTube subscriptions. Channels that aren't posting anymore, channels you don't watch anymore, and unsubscribe. Channel the Uranian energy. Pluto and Saturn in Sagittarius, throwing away old ideologies. You choose, or the choice will be made for you, especially if you're watching media. I don't care if it's the internet, I don't care if it's TV or the damn newspaper or Vogue magazine. When you're watching media, you're being influenced. You have a virus, influenza. You are now sick. You don't need to be putting this shit in you. You empower it, one, because the observer affects the experiment. More power to you. More power to it. Now, Merlin taught us that the way you kill the old gods, just stop buying into their shit. Turn your back on them. Don't watch it. It's the bad black box. They keep giving us imitation, imposter, substitutes. Instead of the true institute, we have a substitute. We all live in the yellow submarine. Have you figured that one out yet? The fire under the water, yellow submarine. The sun's in the water. The sun's not what you think it is. I'm stopping this here. I know I'm driving y'all batty. Don't want to do that, do we? Bats in the belfry.